I'm really surprised nobody's done this before. At least when I searched for it, I didn't see any results. People like to talk about how much more realistic Morrowind's factions are because they require you to actually have relevant skills. But if you've ever seen this video by Imsa, you know the College of Winterhold does actually require using magic a fair few times, and it's really hard to get around it. Sure, you could be a character that never uses magic except for those few moments. But Morrowind would surely be even harder to get through without magic, right? That must be why nobody's done it before. It's impossible. But I'm willing to try it. So let's try to become archmage without using any magic. To define magic, casting a spell by my own abilities, using an enchantment in any way, using a power, making a potion, drinking a potion, even eating food is technically alchemy. Alchemy is a magic skill in this game, and potions let you replicate the effects of many spells, so not allowing them at all. Now I'm also not even taking any magic skills on my character's class. I'm starting as an Imperial, so I don't get any racial points to magic skills either. I really have nothing at all in magic. So here's my character. The Lady Birth Sign, Stealth Specialization, major skills on Speechcraft, Mercantile, Light Armor, Long Blade, and Athletics. I kinda ran out of things I cared about after those first 4 skills. The minor ones are just like, whatever. My favorite attributes are the real things you need for success in life. Personality and luck. So in the early game, I try to do all the money maximizing techniques I know. I also start grabbing mushrooms early, because I know Ajira will need them. We go to Balmora and start the Beginner Mages Guild quests for Ajira, another apprentice of the guild. She wants us to find some mushrooms and flowers from the local area. I had a bit of trouble finding Hypophacia, and I ended up just buying stone flowers from the temple, but it's a very simple quest. While looking for the flowers, I go south from Balmora, near the early Fighters Guild quest at this mine, and I take a left here to check out this other mine. Then I grab as much ebony as I can carry. This is basically a ton of free money just sitting out here, and having been here will be valuable to us later. Eventually I get Ajira her flowers and do her other early quests, like the critical go to the store next door and pick up a bowl for me quest. That's a good one. They're all just walking around the Mages Guild doing chores, basically. Then we switch over to Edwina Elbert's quests. We need to get a rare book, so we go to Joe Bosch's rare books. Also grab Vampires of Vardenfell too, while we're here. We'll need that later. Then Edwina tells us to go talk to another guildmaster, Skinking Tree's Shade, so we do. And then she wants us to get another book for her, and normally she gives you scrolls to use to unlock the chest the book is in, but of course we can't do that, so we want to train our lockpicking skill a bit. I get some training from Naleno Dorvain in the Hlaalu Council Manor, up to 25. Also some enchanting training from Ajira. We pick the lock to get the book, and a few others to steal some stuff. I've been stealing stuff the whole time, by the way. Just assume if there's something valuable that I've stolen it. It's the optimal way to play Morrowind. Edwina's next quest for us is to handle a disturbance at Hulin's hut in Margon. This will end up being a scamp, which aren't tough but are immune to normal weapons. So we'll need to get a non-normal weapon. That's basically anything better than iron or steel, which is actually noticeably a bit rare in Morrowind. They aren't just hanging around in most weapon stores. Luckily, I know just the place to get one. I walk all the way to the St. Olm's Canton's haunted mansion. I grab these lockpicks from this table and try the master one on this door. It's only level 50, so I thought 25 skill and a master lockpick could do it easily enough, but I was wrong. It destroys the lockpick the first time, so I reload and do it again, so I'll be able to keep this master pick for later. Anyway, I go tell Dram Barrow here about that ebony mine we went to earlier. This is a completely unmarked quest. There's 3 people you can tell about it who give you different things. Dram Barrow gives you a Daedric weapon of your choice. We take a Daedric katana from him, the best one-handed long blade in the game. And so we head back to Aldrune and kill the scamp easily. After that, I start to think about all the money I'm going to need, so then I spent 5 minutes trying and mostly failing to rob the fine alchemist in Balmora, but I finally get the money to enact my plan. So I pay Sharn to train me in mysticism up to level 25. Maybe I should explain. The guilds in Morrowind have skill and attribute requirements for advancement, so up until now, even though I had done a bunch of quests, I could only go up 1 rank. and that was because of the enchanting training earlier. Here's a table of it. The attributes basically don't matter. We need to get one level of willpower later, but that's just because I started as a male Imperial because the speed, and I thought it would be funny to look like the current archmage. So after getting the mysticism training, we'll be able to rank up, and if we get more training, we'll be able to get more ranks, but I go back to quests first. Edwina has us return the book we stole earlier, and she has nothing more until we're a higher rank in the guild. So I go and do Stinking Tree Shade's first quest. Oh, this one sounds bad. We need to escort someone. That could be real difficult. You literally just walk over to the dock with her. There's no possible danger, and it takes 40 seconds. Then Stinking Tree Shade asks for Vampires of Ardenfell, which we already have from earlier. So we just complete that immediately. His next quest is a lot harder. He wants us to travel to an Ashlander tribe. I decide to wait on this one. I get a bit more training from Ajira, but then I decide on the trainer I'll be getting my real training from. We'll need level 80 in one of the Mages Guild's skills, and right outside the Mages Guild in Sadrith Mora is the Master Trainer in Illusion, who could take us all the way up to 100. So I get up to level 26 with him and decide I'll need more money. I spend some time looking for the best merchants to sell stuff to, characters that both have lots of money and low mercantile skills so I can get good deals. I spot an enchanter in Tel Voss with an abnormally high 1,300 gold and only novice mercantile. It's a decent shop, but she's really hard to get to. Tel Voss is maybe the most remote town of any importance, and she's hard to find on top of that, but since Tel Voss is on the way to that Ashlander camp quest, I try to do both at the same time. The quest is simple enough, but it's a quest that takes actual effort for the first time in the whole game so far. The wise woman of the tribe doesn't actually want to meet with Stinking Tree Shade, but she's willing to send her apprentice that she hates. After you help the apprentice put some ghosts to rest in a nearby tomb, I put the ghost to rest and go talk to everybody involved again to finish the quest. Oh, and I spot another merchant that's even better than the Tel Voss one, with the third most gold of any non-creature merchant, and an actual accessible store in Tel Mora. She only takes alchemy equipment, but only has 10 mercantile and tons of money to buy alchemy equipment, which is some of the most valuable stuff in the game. I then track down another merchant with more money than sense, the blacksmith right across from the Mages Guild in Vivek. He is the least skilled merchant in the entire game, but he's got 2,500 gold on him. He also has a quest about stealing an order from his competitor that I did because I thought it would make him like me more for even better prices, but he didn't. He just gave me a useless axe. Anyway, after all that, I'm doing really well on money, so I meet up with Erar Darathril, the Master Illusion Trainer again, and train my illusion to 50. It isn't enough to advance much, because I need more willpower. I just have to level up once to get that though, so I ask Caius Casades to train me in Speechcraft, one of my major skills, until I can level up. I take strength, willpower, and even more personality. It's been pretty fun having everybody like me by default. With my new rank, I have access to new quests, but I try to do Stinking Tree Shade's next quest. However, on the way there, there's a Nord guarding a bridge, and he kills me really easily, so I decide not to do that quest and go to Edwina Elbert's again. She's sending us to a Dwemer ruin far away to grab a tube. On the way there, I find a suspicious woman near a big hole in the ground. The Dwemer ruin feels more like a Dwemer single-family home. It's like 3 rooms. I grab the tube and leave. The real difficulty of this challenge is the lack of teleportation. It's not, can you become archmage without magic, it's, can you withstand the boredom of no teleportation? Edwina's next quest is to get an excavation report from another Dwemer ruin, this one even more remote. Before doing that, I decide to try to finish my skill training, so I make another trip to the ebony mine from earlier to grab a few thousand extra gold, and I train myself up to 70 illusion, almost as much as I need for archmage. I start to get worried about finding the last of the money I need for training, but whatever. A long trip through the mountains later, and I make it to Edwina's next ruin. It, again, isn't anything that complicated. The excavation report we need is on a dead body of somebody that went missing on the lower level. This place is also kind of near a quest we got from the guildmaster of the Balmora Guild. You get 2 quests at once to go to a very remote location, and it's not like near this one, but it's really far from everywhere else, and it's less far from where we are now. It's pretty annoying, but I go for it anyway. Each of the 2 quests is solved by just having high personality. We just ask this guy to join the guild, and he says yeah, and we just ask her to pay her guild dues, and she says yeah. I steal some books from them too, though. I need money. I do the next quest at the Balmora Guild, solved again by just talking to somebody while having high personality. I tell him to stop the unsanctioned training, and he says yeah. And then I do her next quest, which was probably a waste of time. She wants research notes from this high elf, and she implies you should just kill him to get them, but instead I actually take him all the way to where he wants to go, and it's really slow and boring. Now at this point what I have to do next is kind of interesting. To advance to the rank of wizard, I need a wizard staff. They'll sell me one for 5,000 gold, but I kinda want to keep that gold. I need more training. There's an alternative, going to a cave on the far northwest of the map, away from any civilization, and taking one from an ex-member of the guild. Now conveniently, that's on the same island as Edwina's next quest, to go to a Dwemer ruin and pick up plans for a Dwemer scarab. But I decide to look into the staff a bit first. It seems annoying to go so far, and maybe there's an easier one to get. The wiki points out that you will probably need to levitate to reach the staff in that cave, which is something I can't do. Then it tells me about several other wizard staffs I could get. One being in the Daedric ruins of Rainy Milk, less than a minute south of Aldruin. So of course I go for that one instead. I clear out the ruins, and there's a ton of high value stuff in here, and the staff, which this is way better than paying 5,000 gold. On the altar, there's this glass dagger and 3 emeralds that spawn a Dremora when taken. I could just leave, but something about this Dremora fight inspires me. I spend 10 minutes trying it over and over. The Dremora's fireball spell does enough damage to kill me in one hit. I could heal since the damage takes a while, but healing is magic. Early on I get an attempt where I almost kill the Dremora, except for that spell killing me, so I just have to get into melee without being hit. Which sounds easy, but he's determined to cast that spell as the first thing he does, always, and it has a huge area of effect. It probably isn't worth going over every strategy I try, but you can see some playing as I talk. Oh, there's one time where I try to dodge the fireball and I just jump and fall through the floor. That was interesting. What eventually gets me the dagger is realizing that the Dremora always spawns behind me. So if I stand on the altar and look the other way, I can change where the Dremora spawns to make it easier to dodge the initial spell. I then use the pillars to bait out the spell and dodge it. Eventually the Dremora gets stuck behind a door and just spams it for a bit until running out of magicka, letting me go in for melee. He then kills me in 2 hits with a Daedric Claymore, but the next attempt I follow a similar strategy and the Dremora just has a Druid club. So I don't get much reward, but the fight was winnable, I guess. Anyway, with that random diversion over, we're back to doing chores for the guild. I'm able to advance in rank, and with the money from my recent adventures, I can finally pay for the illusion training required to advance to the final rank, but I haven't done enough quests to reach it, so I get to work on another Dwemer Ruin quest. This one is full of orcs with gigantic axes that kill me very quickly. It takes me a similar amount of time to the Dremora fight to make it through, but it's way less interesting. I had this weird bug where leaving the ruin would make the game try to blow out my speakers. It was pretty annoying because I had to leave the ruin to heal after each fight. Anyway, only 1 orc was actually necessary to complete the quest here, and I eventually win by getting really lucky with this knockdown, followed by him missing several times when I only had 1 health left. Edwina's final quest is to go to an egg mine that recently broke into a Dwemer ruin. There's this, a bandit, I guess, threatening me, but looking back at the footage, he didn't attack first, so I'm kind of confused. I have to fight these Kwama warriors. I didn't know they shoot lightning. When I get to the ruin though, there's basically nothing here. I grab the airship planes and this silly little book and leave. I bring the planes back to Edwina, and she's willing to promote me to Master Wizard, and she tells me to go talk to Trebonius about replacing him as Archmage. He immediately challenges me to a duel in Vivek's arena. I couldn't find the right way into the fighting pit, so I climbed down from the crowd. I dodge a few spells, then hit him with my big sword. I talk with Edwina about advancement to verify, and yes, I am the Archmage. There is actually another path to becoming Archmage. If you do Stinking Trees Shades quests, then you can get a letter from Chancellor Okado, like in Oblivion, telling Trebonius to retire. But Stinking Trees Shade has a quest that we probably won't be able to complete. He requests the soul of an ash ghoul, which you'd normally get by soul trapping an ash ghoul, then killing it. Soul traps are magic. He does give us some scrolls to do this, so even if we sucked at magic we could do it easily, but the scroll would still be magic. I do wonder if there might be a pre-existing soul gem we could get from somewhere, like how there's a winged twilight soul in the Balmora Mages Guild, but the wiki makes no mention of it, so I think that there isn't one. Anyway, this was really easy. It was basically doing the Mages Guild normally, but I couldn't teleport back, and I couldn't do that one soul trap quest. It kind of feels like the Mages Guild doesn't really care if you're a magic character, and you could just do it as any character without any kind of consideration for that. This was so easy, actually. Let's do House Tilvani too. They're the other main magical faction. I'm sure I could do their quests easily, and I've already got the skill levels for it, so it's just quest progression I need. Let's just do it right now. So I head to their council in Sadrith Mora. Each councillor has a mouth representing them here, and they each give us a quest. Our first one presents an immediate issue: delivering a skirt to Mistress Thorana. The Telvanni have this thing. They kind of hate outsiders. So they intentionally make their towers hard to access, putting in completely vertical sections that require levitation to navigate. The majority of Telvanni masters are past one of these. I don't even try investigating Thorana because this quest is optional in the grand scheme of things, but this is an issue we'll continue to encounter. Like, we get another quest to deliver a message to Deve Sphere. He also requires levitation. But we do get two very simple quests: collecting 5 muck and 5 slowed soap. We just visit an alchemist in town to complete these two quests. The last one was to ask some questions to a Telvanni mage in another town, so I'll save that for later. Our follow-up quests from the two we completed are to get a silver staff from the Mages Guild in town, and to find the Black Jinx ring also in town. Both are pretty simple. We just buy the staff from its owner, and we ask around until we find out Black Jinx is in the Morag Tong Guild Hall. He's not willing to sell it, but he is willing to fight to the death for it. The mouths keep trying to offer us spells as rewards for these quests. I obviously refuse to even learn any new spells. Our next step for advancement in the faction is to find Master Aryon to be our patron. Now, like many masters, he is hard to reach, but the wiki says 100 acrobatics is enough to get to him. I don't have 100 acrobatics. I actually have 45 by now, but that's pretty far from 100. I don't really feel like pressing the E key 20,000 times, so I'm going to use the console to set my acrobatics to 100 for this jump. We're kind of in a testing if this is possible stage. Aryon agrees to becoming our patron, and his first quest for us is to convince that mage we are told to ask questions to earlier to become a counselor. So it's efficient to wait to ask those questions we do both at the same time. I'm keeping the 100 acrobatics, by the way. It has been really slow walking everywhere, and especially Tel Voss, it's incredibly annoying to get to. 100 acrobatics is such a huge difference from 45. Oh my, like, just look at this. It's actually a tolerable speed to get places. Balades has a bunch of Daedra hanging out in his tower. It's kind of difficult to get to him, but I can just jump past the Daedroth and talk to him. I ask him my questions, and he says in order to join the council, he's going to need 3 books from me. I actually have one of them from earlier. I forget where I got it. The other 2 are at Jabash's Rare Books and the Balmora bookstore. It legitimately takes me quite a while, but I managed to get him the books and complete my first quest for Master Arion. His next quest for me is to cure the Quama Queen near his tower of the Blight. He offers to teach me a spell to cure Blight disease, but of course I refuse it. I'm not really sure how I'll cure the Queen. Well, I'll try killing it first. Okay, he doesn't seem to think that works. I kind of wonder if there could be a trick to this, like somehow teaching an NPC an AoE Cure Blight spell, and making them chase us. But they wouldn't cast it most likely, and NPCs aren't good at going through doors, and I don't think you can teach them spells. I think we're locked out here. Unlike the Mages Guild, Master Arion is the only questline through House Tovani. We could do some other quests and get to a higher rank, but it wouldn't really get us closer to our goal. We'd also be likely to run into more issues later, like we need to kill the Archmagister eventually, just like the Mages Guild, and he's got one of the vertical levitation things that I'm not aware of any non-magical way around. So, alright, we can't quite become Archmagister of House Tovani without casting any magic, just Archmage of the Mages Guild. This really shows the superiority of House Tovani as a faction. Oh, I should go over the Mages Guild quests that I didn't do in the video. So here are all the Mages Guild quests. Highlighted in green are the ones that I did complete. Highlighted in red is the one from Skink and Tree's Shade I couldn't do. The remaining quests are really quite simple. Pick a single lock, take a Silk Strider to Margon, talk to people at the Vivek Mages Guild. I do regret not solving the mystery of the dwarves, but I missed one of the books I needed, and at that point I just wanted to stop the recording footage from being too long, so I didn't go back for it. So the only complication is the Staff of Magnus and the Warlock's Ring. The Staff of Magnus requires a very difficult jump onto this rock. I set my speed, athletics, acrobatics, and strength all to 100, and was able to barely make it. I think you're expected to levitate here, but you can get around it. Also, you can see the character I've made is actually quite pathetic at combat. I have to console kill my enemies for testing purposes. Though I guess by the time I grind it to 100 strength and speed, I'd probably be strong enough for this. Then the Warlock's Ring. The wiki says it requires levitation. This is not true. With a similar 100 acrobatics and strength, I was able to barely climb up this wall in the cavern leading to the ring. This would, however, be the very last quest I ever complete, because there's no way out. You have to jump down into this pool to get here, and getting back up does not seem possible at all. Oh, and then there's a quest to kill all Telvanni counselors. Yeah, those levitation tunnels again, not really jumpable. So in the end, there are only 3 quests that are impossible to complete, and 1 quest that's locked off by one of those impossible quests.